let's just get down to it, man. The CM Punk stuff. The CM Punk stuff.
Whew. Okay. Where do we begin? Do we begin on Dynamite?
Let's begin on Dynamite. I know that we do a live watch on Dynamite on our Discord, which you can subscribe to our Patreon. You'll get access to that.
It's a safe space. It's a safe space for those people who know.
It is a safe space for anyone who doesn't want to watch Wednesday Night Dynamite. We let you know all of that. I remember looking at it and everyone being like, what the hell is CM Punk talking about? Why is he... Y'all kept saying, Adam Page got to fight this guy. Adam Page got to fight this dude. He got to fight this dude, right? And everyone kept saying that.
I said specifically, oh, they making him look worse than whatever y'all was trying to convince us that Big E looked like, because you literally had your world champion called this other man who you guys beloved, and obviously, didn't truly support as world champion, to be honest with you. Basically get called pussy on national television.
Yeah, he came out. He came out and pretty much said, he
said, Adam Page, where if you want a shot at the champion, come on out, and essentially sat in the ring,
put the belt on the floor. And he didn't come out, and he said, yeah, that's what I thought. Stop talking shit.
And I was like, bro, you knew he wasn't. That's what's so corny about it. I was like, you knew he wasn't going to be there. I would have, if I was Adam Page, I would have showed up maybe like 5 minutes later. I would have heard, oh, I'm sure he was in catering. Whatever AEW's form of catering looks like.
Chick-fil-A.
I mean, it might be Panera Bread, something along those lines. But I'm sure he was there. I would have came out afterwards. Adam Page not nearly as bold enough as I would. Tony would have had to stop me, or something along those lines, and I would have just gone through the other tunnel, the bad tunnel.
Here's why you can't do that, right? Because like Punk is basically Teflon back there, and even if Adam Page was upset or whatever, and he did not like what he said, and he wanted to do something, Tony has made it pretty clear to me that Punk is the guy that he's going to side with over anyone. I feel like he sided with Punk over Cody. I feel like he'll side with Punk over anyone, because I feel like if it came down to both of those, he feels that Punk is going to move the needle even more. And I don't think he's ever going to. I think that he goes down with the ship with hoisting Punk up above the water. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's just where it is. I think a lot of people backstage feel that way. In fact, I've heard in no uncertain terms that a lot of them probably do feel that way, but this comes out, and a report comes out after, because it did seem a little weird that he did that. He was the promo itself, right, Meelz? It was like he was bringing up a lot more WWE stuff than he normally does. But
I just think with this promo itself, I mean, he came back. It looks like he was trying to make a statement as well, and he had this, this promo battle with Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley apparently not quick-witted at all. Wonder how that happened. Possibly too many shots to the head. But he came out and he says, "You may be the heart and soul of AEW, but I'm the dollars and cents." And I was like, "Are we supposed to? Do we clap? Like, what do we do? Like." It
was so odd, because it was like, I felt like you were really getting the real him, and not the guy he portrays when he's saying he stands in solidarity with Sasha and Naomi, that cap ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Because
what do you think the meaning behind this true contention was? Like, why is he so mad? Like, why is he so angry?
So the reports came out that Adam Page had cut a promo back when they were supposed to wrestle each other back at Double or Nothing, I believe. And they're looking at this as a receipt. And so Adam Page says, something, you talk about workers' rights, but I haven't seen anything like that from you. You talk about this, but it's all about the moments that people don't see, that I see, that I know. You're basically you a fake ass dude. And I'll say this right now, like, Meelz, like, we've heard people like Booker T, we've heard people like Road Dogg, we've heard people like Jericho, we've heard a lot of people say that the same exact things that that Adam Page is saying, have we not?
They telling him pipe down. Back down with all that rah-rah shit.
Like we've heard the exact same things. I feel as though Punk probably caught wind. He probably was mad at that. He probably is mad about a lot of other stuff in there because there was a lot of other people that was taking, probably taking shots at him. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Kingston is one of the guys that was taking shots at him, and he was going to him. A lot of people back there were taking shots at him, and I think that was an answer to all of them, because I feel like when Punk signed there, he knew he signed there because he was going to have the best opportunity to be the guy on a show in a way that he would not be able to be a guy on a show with Roman Reigns there, with Brock Lesnar there. Whether he signed to WWE and they gave him the biggest hero's welcome, I think if he would have signed, he would not have been the guy there. Do you agree?
No, I mean, I think that's natural, especially with the direction of the company is going. One, you have to build that trust back. He walked out. He left. He obviously didn't care anymore. And he was very contentious with his exit, especially with all the words that he said. So there's no way that I would, as big as a Punk star is, there's no way he's surpassing Roman Reigns, the star that we built, the star who has done everything that we've asked and then some, to be the face of this company. That just wouldn't have happened. And I don't, you know what? I think Punk could have fit in WWE's current era? Sure. But he just didn't want to, and he wanted to be the guy, and he wanted to be the guy carrying this company, and that is who he is now.
Yeah, it's who he is now, but it's who he's really like always wanted to be, is that guy. One thing that stuck out to me in that podcast, and it's always stuck out to me, and I swear, Meelz, we said we never talk about this podcast or this nigga ever again, and he came back, but like, he talked about how Brock got opportunities that they never got to, like wear what he wanted to, have the music, have have anything he wanted to. Mm-hmm. I've always felt that he wanted that rope, and I feel like Tony Khan's the only guy that would ever give him that rope. And to be fair, if like someone's gonna let you do what the fuck you want to do, you do it. You know what I'm saying?
But honestly, to be honest with you, he probably, if he had signed to WWE, he probably could have gotten that, and that would have been like a negotiation point at this point. Like, I think because of how popular he was before he signed AEW, and he's still relatively popular now. No, he's not, ain't go over 1 million yet, but he's still relatively popular right now, and you probably could have bargained and got all of that, but he just kind of chose not to. And still, like, even now, like his all right, I have this Fightful report in front of me. Should I read this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna get to a point. I'm gonna skip the Hangman stuff because we already talked about it. Sources familiar with the situation claim that CM Punk has often verbally expressed his displeasure about things, including recently so blatantly that they thought he might end up quitting the company. Those close to him said that he might have almost decided to stay home instead of coming to the August 17 Dynamite, but don't think he would have quit. We haven't been given any indication that he plans on leaving AEW, but one veteran said that they've heard threats being levied. Fightful also was told that Moxley versus Punk match for the August 24th episode of AEW Dynamite was a late decision. We haven't been told how late, but when we asked AEW higher-ups for context, we didn't gain any. We have learned the crux of what led to Punk's current frustrations that would have led him to hypothetically not showing up on Dynamite, whether it be the change in the match or Hangman's jab in May or otherwise. And
it's
then
more
he
than
said,
that.
edit.
It's more than that. Yeah, it's more than that. Like, you can read between the lines there. You can really read between the lines. That ain't it. Like, voicing his frustrations. What were the question is, what are the frustrations? Is it that the locker room, he might have lost them and they're not listening to him? Do the young niggas fuck with him? Do they? Do the young guys fuck with him? I'm posing questions.
I have no idea. I can't. I mean, to be honest with you, it doesn't look like when I look at, and this is me always comparing them. You look at the entrance of Bryan Danielson, you look at the entrance of CM Punk, and kind of like how that situation has worked out. And what Bryan Danielson has done in terms of opportunities for talent and stuff like that. And you see CM Punk, he does that to an extent, doesn't do it really a lot, but also Bryan Danielson isn't a crabby, petulant MFer. Like, he isn't someone who... To my frustration, because I feel like he lets people do too much shit to him. No, of course. But at the end of the day, it's what Brian wants to do. I mean, this is what he wants to do. I think he realizes he's in a position to give back more than actually take. And I'm not saying CM Punk has turned completely into Hogan, where he's just like, I need to be on top or something along those lines. But I do think there's a lot shorter of a fuse with him. And I think a lot of people backstage, especially considering, so these people backstage have absorbed Punk kind of like how we see Punk, right?
Yeah.
Through news reports, through stuff. And as much as they want to say like, oh no, we know the true backstage of things, these people are just as influenced by the Fightfuls and the dirt sheets as we are.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
So they have their thoughts about him. And they honestly, it doesn't take much for the reports to corroborate, because he is a very aggy guy.
It's been a ticking time bomb, right? Where it's like, these guys don't have to lie, and they're all telling the same stories. And
it's really going to end up being like CM Punk. You going to side with Punk or Page? That's what it kind of like feels like, you know?
Or let's go deeper than that. You're going to sign with you're going to side with Punk and Tony, or Page and the Bucks and Kenny. Because that same show where Kenny walked out with the damn Batman armor on walking like Matt Hardy-ish. I watched it yesterday.
Wore a shirt to the ring,
looking Matt Hardy-ish a little bit, looking a little bigger.
If you're not ready to go, you're not ready to go.
And he usually did. He cut. We're not even gonna get into all that, but he cut a promo at the end saying, "Oh, we not fake. We are who we say we are." Da-da-da-da-da. He said a lot of stuff. I keep telling people to listen to that Cody Rhodes promo right before he left, right before that ladder match, when it seemed like, what the hell is he talking about, right? It's always the only person in that company that's ever been direct is MJF. Ever been direct. It's always been a little bit of read between the lines between those other guys. The Kenny promo, to me, I mean, it's a terrible promo, but like, I'll read between the lines of what he's saying there. You know what I'm saying? Like the Cody thing is it's set more precedence than people might think. You know what I'm saying, Meelz? Like, there is definitely something going on, and it started when Punk got there, and it continued on right after, and the show got different. We're almost a year from September 5th, where everyone said that this was AEW's turning point. They turned, and then they peaked, and then they never got back to where they were. Ever.
I mean, but this is the growing pains of a company, right? This is what happens when you bring in these big stars and stuff like that. Like, shit like this happens. This is all part of the growing pain. I mean, if you have someone leading the ship, and they're constantly leading the ship, and they're affirmed in leading the ship, and you don't have other people leading their own ships, then you're going to get a situation where it's going to be resolved one way or another. But if everyone is leading their own...
I don't feel like he told Punk that he shouldn't have did that.
I agree.
As a leader, locker room leader, you don't do that. Not on TV. Come on, man. Imagine you think half of the beefs that happen behind the scenes of WWE we know about? No. They don't air them out either.
Mm-hmm.
They never do. Unless it was like that Karrion thing that felt like a work, it felt like a shoot, but we don't even... I mean, Karrion himself said himself that was scripted. That wasn't even a shoot. It was a work. They were saying all that stuff.
You just had great delivery with that shit.
Yeah. But, so I mean, the Punk thing's interesting, man. And then I mean, let's get to the match that he's gonna have with Moxley. That's coming out of nowhere. You know, I'm with Quan on this, saying like, if they bring back MJF to do this would be the dumbest booking decision they've ever done. If they bring him back to interrupt that match.
So it's interesting because this is the company that doesn't do the schmoz finishes.
Right.
And you're either going to give this away on TV for a number, similar to WCW. A lot of things are looking like WCW. Like, to be honest with you, like, a lot of things are looking like WCW.
Hot shot in a match for a rating. I mean, you had everyone on that show last week. It didn't even hit 1 million. I mean, when are we going to start calling a spade here? That they need to change the way they structure these shows. People are tired of watching the same show every week.
Absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of happens from this. If they if they really want to unify it on a normal ass Dynamite, I'm confused why, considering you don't need to, you have all eyes. You're Labor Day weekend pay-per-view. You're good. I don't have work on Monday. I'll see it. So there's no need to necessarily do that, nor do I think that the rush job that they did last week was necessary. But I can't see them bringing MJF. I wouldn't, if I was MJF, I wouldn't come back in this situation. It doesn't make any sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
It really wouldn't. Like
there's no reason to. I mean, even if they had an extension, it's like that. This company is so screwy, and I think it's a lot of stuff they're doing is reactionary, and I think a lot of it is not acted. I don't think that, and I think that I don't want to bring like too much WWE shit into this, but I think that there were certain things that happened on their own and they didn't expect, and I think that the Vince stuff really is throwing them through a loop too, because it's like this is a whole strategy change. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like they was expecting Vince this year. You feel me? Mm-hmm. It wasn't expecting a mid-year shakeup to this level, and it's working. You know what I mean? Like that's no one could expect that the fortunes to switch that much, because it's like now, and we're gonna talk about them right after this. You've got somebody on the shows, and you got a bunch of people on the shows that were on the show that people loved 2 years ago. They're all right on Monday nights now. That core, other than like 2 or 3 people, are there. CM Punk, man, we'll see.
We'll see, man. Listen, man, we gonna see. He didn't have to. I don't think he could have. I think the culture that AEW promotes, especially on the promo and having everybody kind of talk for themselves, it ends up everyone wanting to be the shot master, the not shock master, but the shot master, like the guy, the real shooting guy, the talking about, you're the second best Kingston I've been in the ring with.
That was like, weird.
Do you even speak to Kofi Kingston? Does this nigga even?
That was so weird. We all know you cut the guy off, right? Like,
yeah.
I thought that.
Like, when's the last time you spoke to him?
I thought that leveraging that man for a punchline, it's like, as much as like I felt like as much as people get so sensitive,
leveraging the Miz. Come on now,
like, exactly. Like, oh god, but like as much as like people get so sensitive about Kofi, they didn't say nothing about that line. You know what I'm saying? They get sensitive about anything that happens to him. I'm like, bro, like he was actually a good friend of this guy. You know what I mean? The Colt Cabana thing is also being said is at the core of this, Meelz, where people feel as though Punk coming in and kind of icing out Colt and sending him to ROH was something that was a point of contention for a lot of people backstage, because Colt is a liked guy backstage. Again, a lot of these people have worked with Colt. A lot of these people have not worked with Punk. So again, that goes back to the locker room. That younger locker room might know him from the pipe bomb, but they don't know him from the locker room. They know Colt because he's worked with a lot of these guys before, and that's been an issue too. What do you feel about that?
I think it'd be weird if it wasn't addressed when he was signed by Tony Khan. Like, it would be weird considering how much it is, and you have them both in the same locker room, and this isn't an issue where it's just like they don't like each other. This is like real litigation shit. Like, they were friends, they abhor each other now. Like, it's a lot. So my thing is that Tony needs to reel in his company. He needs to. He really does. Like,
control your hoes.
Essentially, like, he needs to reel in his company. Like, he needs to figure that out, and he needs someone, to be honest, like, not necessarily make these decisions for him, but I think he does. He's getting to the level where I think it's like, all right, what is your role? Yeah, what is your role really in all of this? Like, what is your role really?